full with a pocket full of shells. I'm not familiar with that. What's wrong with you? I don't know. I live a very bland, vanilla life.
Why do we do this?
I don't know.
We're not on.
Oh, shit. Hello, everybody. We're back.
Hey, buddy.
Hey. Everything's late. Nobody dies. Episode
Nobody's friends.
Episode number 75.
Double size $9.99 backup feature number 75. Yes. Lucky 75.
Oh,
Lucky.
This is the one, folks.
75. This is the one. This is it.
I'm pretty sure.
I've looked into it.
Nice.
I typed it in and read Quora, and it said that this is the one. This is it right now.
Nice.
Yeah, man. So yeah, before we go mentioning all this stuff, man, Marvin had me on last week.
Right.
On Saturday.
That's funny. That's going to be a callback in just a minute here.
Oh, okay, cool, man.
But yeah,
was he complaining about it?
No, it was something.
Oh, all right, okay.
That he said earlier.
Oh, okay. No, and so I was on there for their Kickstarter launch.
Nice.
For their live launch, which was really cool. And they were like funding immediately. Nice. I checked yesterday. That looks really good.
And just so everybody knows, Marvin Wynn, creator of The Edge, great indie book. I don't know.
Comicsburg company.
Okay.
Publisher.
I wasn't sure if he was going with Comicsburg or not. They've got a couple of some of my favorite books over there.
Yep.
Blowtorch is over there as well.
I wish I had a copy of Daisy Chain, but they're gone.
Daisy Chain, such a good book.
I didn't even get to look at it.
That is so good.
It was gone before I even got to look at it.
It's so good.
So second printing is coming in.
Yeah.
And third printing, I think, from what I understand, is happening, isn't it?
Yeah. And he just announced some New York Comic Con exclusives, some like foil etched,
nice.
Like Daisy's foil etched.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty cool. Cool.
This podcast brought to you by Random Red Liquid. Red Liquid.
So anyway,
to live by.
Marvin Wynn. You were talking to Marvin.
Oh yeah. And then I just want to mention the Kickstarter. And I put a link to it up on my Facebook, so you guys
we'll throw it down in the description as well.
Cool. Yeah. He's I was on with several of those guys. Tony, the grading guy there. Yeah, he was funny. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah, Tony's a riot.
Yep.
Tony's a riot. He's a good guy.
Yep.
I really, and everybody that knows me and my view on grading and whatnot, I think Tony is probably one of the best graders in the business, but he's certainly got the best product in my opinion.
He's got a bunch of new labels that he was showing off.
His really labels are fantastic. Yeah. His slabs are top notch.
Yeah. Nice.
They hold up to the test. I really like his stuff.
Good.
I really hope that he's able to make it. And the more people that support him, he's going to be able to quit his day job and do that full time. That'd be cool.
Me too. Come and support me so I can quit my day job.
So yeah, comics. No, check them out.
Okay, I know how rumors start. No, we're not closing. God, no, we're here. I don't know. We're here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the rest so we don't get thumbs down. Anyhow, yeah. And man, not only are we not closing, but September 1st. My gosh, September 1st. We're doing our half off sale, man.
Wow.
Also, we're working with the city library.
So somebody bring in a bunch of G.I. Joes so I can finish out my collection at half off.
Yeah, let's get this cheap bastards collection filled up, shall we? No, we're also working with the city library.
Nice.
And if you show your library card, you get 10% off of. We're gonna do statues, action figures, and T-shirts. So
right on.
We got all kinds of good stuff happening here.
Right. Yeah. So support your city library. That's important.
Yeah.
Go down, hang out at the library.
Dang old communist bookstore.
And then. For something that they'll burn at the library, come in here because Greg will have.
There you go. Yeah. I have so many things they burn. No, the library won't burn it. The school system might.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. Bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. that was just an ad lib right there.
Yeah.
Improv. That's what the kids call them.
Yes, and.
Yep.
Yes, and.
Yes, and what?
I don't know. That's just what I learned.
Oh, you learned that from the acting stuff.
Yeah.
Good job from improv. Yeah. Way to go, man.
So how's your week been?
Oh, shut up. Just shut up, man.
Left Greg.
My week.
He was headed out to the Alice Cooper concert.
Which got canceled. There was a fire.
Really?
No, I'm just making you feel
I was
better.
like, no, because I'm pretty sure I know people that went.
I'm just trying to make you feel better. You didn't go.
I don't.
Yeah. Then we got to get like right up, very front,
Nice.
right up there, man. It was really fun. Alice put on an amazing show. We missed Filter because we were drinking.
That'll happen.
And waiting for our ride to get there. So that happened, man. But the good news is we were safe, so we didn't drive.
Nice.
But yeah, we heard Filter as we were going in because a friend of mine took me, and he has got like he does work out there, right? So it was a very different, situation. Okay. So we're like over the side. We have to wait for our, credentials and the whatever, and then get to go in the employee and out the employee, so we don't have to wait for an hour to get out of there, which is super nice, right? Yeah, but I was over there, and I'm like, why are these idiots playing Filter? Because they're going to be playing. Like, why are they playing Filter over the like the what I called concert hold music? And then I realized that was actually them playing. They sounded so good.
Nice.
I didn't even realize that it was live. Like, it sounded good. We got there we got in right when they stopped, which sucked. But they sounded amazing. I'll bet, I'm sure they put on a great performance, but they sounded absolutely incredible. And then Ministry came up. Al Jorgensen looked like people, which is very different from him. He looked like a human being. Ministry put on a great show. Alice came out. Of course, he always puts on an amazing show. And then Rob Zombie was technically the headliner. He and Alice kind of split the time.
Right.
I think Alice may have played for a few minutes longer, but he needed to get to bed. It's like 73, man. Oh God, man. But yeah, Rob Zombie came out, and the last time I saw him, it was garbage. It was so bad, man. He was in the middle of filming Halloween 2, so you could tell he's just like, well, let's see, what if I put this other crappy thing in? Let's see, what if I edited this out and put a horse in? Is there any other place for my wife? Like, he was not thinking about music. He was doing the Vince Neil thing. It was like, yeah, doing that, not singing, not into it. He was great this time.
Nice.
Really good. And I think the Munsters may have humbled him a little bit. Which it should have.
It definitely should have.
Yeah, Mr. Rob Zombie can do no wrong. Did you see it?
I did. I have seen that movie, and I enjoyed it.
And now you drink, don't you?
I enjoyed it. It was
awful. It's terrible. Man.
It was you need to hush up over there. The Munsters was a cinematic achievement.
Oh, it was. It was an achievement
of a sort.
It was an achievement. That managed to make poo-poo on the screen. It was so bad.
It was not great.
It's terrible.
Dead Kennedys. I love Dead Kennedys.
Yeah?
Actually.
Not as much as I do.
Not. Marvin, we were just talking about
We were.
Mr. Marvin Wynn hanging out. If you get a moment, throw in the link to your Kickstarter.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
We were just talking about it. So we want to make sure we get support where it is.
Yeah.
Not only welcome, but appreciated.
And it's fun, and like the hell out of that thing, man. It's great. I love it. Man.
You shit.
No, my shirt. Not you shit.
Oh, okay. So earlier, Marvin.
Shit. Well, let's fund Marvin. Oh, you
so
shit.
the whole idea, yeah, Marvin, you shit. Okay, you have a question. Shoot your question. I don't know. Is it for Greg? Is it even about comics? Because I've been criticized for not having comics on our comic book podcast before.
Al Cooper had a comic.
He did.
So did Rob Zombie.
He did. And yes,
Minister had a biographical comic.
Right.
Filter's Singer is the brother of the guy that played the T-800 in Terminator 2, and Terminator had a comic and has another one coming up. There we go. I knew I could make it work.
There you go.
Okay. Question.
Do you like custom comic book covers? I think that would depend on what a custom is.
You mean like the blank sketch covers?
Where people can like draw their own or,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
have it professionally drawn.
Yeah, I think he's talking about like the blank covers that come out, the sketch covers as they call them, with no sketch on.
Because I dig that. I dig that.
I love it. I think it's great.
I like that a lot more than variant covers.
Mm-hmm.
It makes them
that's
a
a one of a kind.
You know,
the blanks. Yeah. No, I've got a like I think they're super cool. I love having people do them. I've got an Evil Dead one that's who did that? Phil Seavey, Adrian Rope, and Jorge Corona.
Oh, nice.
Did like a jam piece on it. So Jorge did Jack Burton, because he was drawing Big Trouble in Little China
right
at the time. So he did Jack Burton in the middle, and then Adrian and Phil did Deadites like coming to get him from the side.
Cool.
And he had that like stupid Jack Burton face on, which is awesome. Ryan Otley did me great, like one of the coolest MODOK covers I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
I don't know if have I showed you that?
No.
Yeah, you'd be jealous of that.
I don't know. Maybe we'll do a show on that. Like Greg show off some of his personal jam pieces. Man. That'd be super cool.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Last year at one of the conventions we did for charity, blank covers of Wasatch Wonders #1. Wasatch Wonders is a local superhero team, local independent creator.
And by the way, Charity is a dancer at the. She's trying to get to college.
She really appreciated it. So we did these and we were selling them for charity, and there's 6 wonders, and I took 6 of the covers, and I had one. I went to the local Utah creators and had them in their style draw a wonder on each book.
Nice.
So I got 6. I got the entire team with 6 different Utah creators.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's actually really cool.
Yesterday we had James Davies here, who was doing a signing. He was the Black Power Ranger on the Dino Rangers show. And had a customer come in. We had a blank Power Rangers cover.
Right.
And it was like a black blank. And, he signed that. And then, next time we have a signing here, they're going to bring that in and have somebody draw the Black Power Ranger on it.
Okay.
So they'll have a custom cover and the autograph from the actor that played him, which is super cool.
That is really cool.
Stuff like that is neat, man, because, there's kind of like no limit, to like what you can get done on it.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And it's really cool because you can get them custom. To me, if you're talking about some of these creators, I'm trying to think of somebody who's actually done them. Clayton Crane has done these for us before. And right now
it costs you a Volkswagen.
Well, right now, Clayton Crane autograph costs you $80, right? Mm-hmm. So to me, to spend $120 to have him do a sketch, I mean, it's $40. It's only $40 more. And you got a whole sketch,
right?
Like it's kind of a no-brainer to me.
Yeah.
Brother did Ash versus the Walking Dead poster. It was cool to see Rick beside Ash from the Evil Dead.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
That'd be really cool. I like that.
And no, Marvin, it's not showing. I will put the link to Marvin's Kickstarter down below. So anybody watching on the rewind, any of you guys pop back after I get a chance to fix that up and go support Marvin Wynn.
You can watch later? This is not a one-time thing?
No.
Oh my God.
It's not.
It's amazing. 75 times, and I'd find.
So earlier today, I'm going through Facebook as one does when they're old and bored, and that's what we do. And Marvin had posted about comic book shops, and comic book shops having, like, you've got books in this store from almost 100 years ago. Like, and he was asking, does anybody have any experience with hauntings or ghosts or that type of thing.
Mhm.
So that got me kind of feeling nostalgia for like that old pre-code horror stuff and
Yeah.
and all that super cool comic related spookiness. So I thought we'd maybe chat about that today.
Well,
But-
sometimes when we're closed, a ghost puts pornography on my computer. It is terrible.
Awful. Just
Evil,
awful.
bad porno ghost. No, it's, you know, and I wouldn't really be surprised if there was something weird. Honestly, like I know you put that on there like for clickbait, you know, but the thing is, like, this whole building used to be a huge like community laundromat.
Okay.
And you know how many people die in dryer accidents. No, but you know, and it was a very different neighborhood years ago. Many years ago.
Yeah.
You know, and we didn't have any of these high rises here. We didn't have any apartment complexes here. We didn't have any of this garbage, man. So right up where Highland High School is, where my daughter went to school, that used to be part of the prison.
Right.
So there used to be a prison right here.
Yeah.
In the park and the high school, right? There's still like weird underground stuff that exists in this area in Sugar House.
Right.
And the weird thing is Joe Hill, like the real actual, well, they're both real, but the historical Joe Hill,
Yeah.
you know, the labor leader and blah, 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 whatever. He was in this prison. He died on the grounds of my daughter's old high school.
All right. I didn't know that.
And there is some weird stuff around, not necessarily here in the store, you know, but all of these buildings around here, and if they've been here for longer than 30 years, have got some strange history.
Huh.
You know, and you know what? Honestly, like sometimes when I'm here late, you know, you hear something up there, and I'll be like, "What did I say?" You know?
Up from the second floor.
Wait a minute, there is no second floor.
What?
Hi, welcome to the podcast. Anything we're going to help you find, let us know, okay? Oh, no,
you're
you
good.
go look
You're
at
good. You're
then. Yeah, but it's you know, there's a lot of like weird stuff around here. As far as like haunted bookstores or comic shops or something like that, Pete, my buddy down at Utah Book and Magazine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that place is creepy.
Place is haunted as it could be.
Yeah.
So like,
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like you feel it when you walk into the
Oh, yeah.
place. It's like,
And it ain't just
yeah.
Pete.
No, that is super.
But
cool.
yeah, you know, they've had like ghost sightings there and all kinds of crap, and you know, and it's not technically really a comic store anymore, but it used to have a ton of back issues back
Yeah.
there. You know, and I used to go back there when I was, you know, 15, 16 years old, and the things were very different then. You know, I used to go back there and just chain smoke cigarettes, flip through comics, and you know,
At the age of 15.
yeah,
Yeah.
actually, yes. By the time I was 16, all my drug days were behind me already. So. You think I'm kidding? But yeah, you know, you just go back there and smoke cigarettes and thumb through comics and all back issues and everything. And you shouldn't smoke around comic books, obviously.
Right.
You know, it never stopped us.
Oh yeah.
But you know, I mean, it was inside in the back of a store that was full of paper. And we're over there lighting things on fire and sucking it into our lungs, which is probably not a great idea.
Yeah.
You know, and like you see this stuff stacked up over here, right? You know, and you see a box and then a stack of comics about like this on it, right? Well, if you put that from the floor to the ceiling, that's about what Pete's place looks like,
Yeah.
like literally.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody ran a fever and it got too hot in there, man, that place would go up like that. Like it's nuts, man. But yeah, he's
Crazy.
had like ghost sightings and all kinds of stuff there, man. Like he swears up and down his brother's still there.
Oh, I totally buy that.
I believe it. Yeah, but yeah, like,
I used to get that a lot in the bookshelf down in Ogden too. You go down, or you go, like you go in behind the counter and you go upstairs to where all
that kind of loft thing.
Yeah, and he had
yeah.
all those pulp paperbacks up
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
But yeah, you get that a lot up there.
Well, I just think
Really
Ogden's haunted
creepy.
in and of itself.
Oh, Ogden's definitely haunted. It's like on a convergence of ley lines or something.
Something's up with that. Man.
Yeah.
Something is up with that. Ogden is like it's like Castle Rock. It's just like there's something all over the freaking place there, man. That place, some of those buildings are just man. I went to see John Hammond in concert there years and years and years ago, man.
I told you about Dino DNA.
John Hammond?
Yeah. The
Not
guy
that.
oh, okay. You're cloning dinosaurs. I don't know.
Hello, my name is. I'm going to write something on here, and you're going to have to read my name. That is actually a different John Hammond. Yeah,
Okay.
I've never even thought about that. So weird, man. But the blues musician.
Oh, okay.
And so we walked in there, and you walk in, you're like, huh, something's weird here. It's like, it was just odd. So there's so many buildings
Yeah.
there that feel like that, and there's definitely a lot around Salt Lake.
Yeah.
I think these old kind of like either railroad or pioneer towns or, whatever it might be, And there was some dubious things that went down in Salt Lake, in the capital of Angel City here,
Trolley Square
Mm.
is creepy.
Yeah.
All of the old train stations.
Yeah.
Union Station up in Ogden.
Yeah.
Horribly
Again, Ogden.
creepy. Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of that stuff. If we said that this place was haunted, do you think the news would come?
They might.
Oh,
We might get you some free press.
there you go. So
So
I need you to be up in the ceiling. It's a drop ceiling. We just left that up there. So I need you to be up there. And every time I say, "What was that?" you go, "Ooh, I'm cheap and want the rest of my GI Joes."
So yeah, you heard it here first. Black Cat Comics in Salt Lake, the most haunted comic shop in the country, maybe the
Yeah.
world, possibly the
No,
world.
ever in the universe, in the entire universe.
My brother has 40 custom cards being put in the new Transformer cards that are coming out. All right.
That's awesome.
He was told they went with him a few days ago. That's very cool.
Chad Harden did that for the Marvel cards years and years ago. Yeah, and then he did it was really cool. He's got a custom Wolverine card that he did for me, and then with Whiteout put Black Cat Comics on his t-shirt. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's a cool thing about going back to custom stuff like that. Is especially if you've done this, like I've done this for 20 years, right? And if you look in my soulless eyes, you can tell it's been at least 2 decades. My empty pools of sadness right there. You're bound to get stuff like that, Phil Seavey did a sketch of Howard the Duck on a backboard doing rails of cocaine off of a urinal for me. For a while, I thought it was just funny to have like weird like bathroom sketches. Temple Smith did Captain America sitting on the toilet.
Well, my Indiana Jones #1 has a sketch on the backing board from the artist.
Oh, that's cool.
I can't remember, his name escapes me, but he was at a convention.
Indiana Smith? Ohio Smith? That's his name.
So that was very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome to do that.
So I don't know. I personally don't know a lot. I love like the old pre-code horror, golden age horror.
I thought that was the end of the sentence. I was going to try and come for you and say, no, you know about some things.
No, but it is not my forte, and we do default to you on this. You know a lot more about a lot of stuff, and I did a little bit of research, and I came up with some stuff that I thought was certainly really interesting. So the pre-code horror didn't start till like 1947.
Yeah.
Like, so superhero stuff, Batman, Superman, all that predates our horror stuff.
Yeah, most of it was like mystery. There's a lot of sci-fi stuff.
It was sci-fi, a lot of Western.
Like
was
tons
really
of
big.
Westerns, yeah.
And
TV shows and
cop
movies.
stuff.
TV shows and movies. And a lot of crime stuff.
I think
Um,
TV shows were kind of a little bit later because nobody even had a TV in 1945.
but there were
But that was
movies
like right
too,
on the
though. That's the
verge.
Dell stuff.
Yeah, that was
Like the
like
Dell
right on the
four
verge for
color,
sure.
they would do like movies, and then they started
Gumshoe
doing
and
Gunsmoke, and then they started doing Bonanza and
right.
that stuff in the 50s. But yeah, it was a lot of crime. And those old Dells, man, with the 40s, like mid 40s stuff. They did a lot of the movies, but again, they were mostly crime and Western movies.
Right.
The only place you really saw horror oddly enough was like Classics Illustrated, because they did a Frankenstein one.
Yeah, I can see
Which
that.
was really, really cool.
But I think that weren't the Classic Illustrated like mid 50s?
No, they were 40s.
They were 40s.
Yeah.
But yeah, it started in 1947. Avon Comics was the first one. I'd never heard of that. Of course, I have heard of ACG Adventures and EC, of course.
Adventures into the Unknown.
Yeah.
That was technically that was like the 49. First ongoing horror book.
Yes.
Which is cool. I've got a number 5.
Wow. That. And one thing that I thought was really interesting. So we look at comparing collector values of these things, right? You see a lot of those classic covers. You've got the Man That Died Twice cover, with a dude in the electric chair just laughing his ass off, and stuff like that.
Awesome.
But you get a lot of these books. It was really that stuff was really bought more for art than the art in it than the stories, because it was all 5-page stories,
right?
Really small stories.
That was always it. Usually had that kind of Twilight Zone twist at the end,
right?
And they were like, "What? He's been a ghost? How was I in a car with a ghost?" They were kind of silly, but they were also like
the story.
Pretty messed up. Some of them.
A Sock for Christmas. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
I think that's a different genre. Sorry.
Really creepy. Like Santa Claus murders the king and chops him up and stuffs him in a sock at the fireplace.
You wouldn't know my sock. She goes to a different school. She's from Canada. Really? No, that stuff was, some of it was so crazy cheesy, but then some of it, some of that stuff, I don't even know if they get away with today sometimes.
Well, I mean, and that's a way different discussion, but obviously with things like the Ice Cream Man and Ha Ha, and, was it Night House on the Lake? These are books that would have been pre-code quality, right, and everything.
Yeah,
they would never flown under the Comic Code Authority.
Oh no way, not a chance.
You couldn't get Ha Ha.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just scaryable.
Yeah, that there's no way they would have been able to do that.
One collection down. Hey, what is up, my brother? I ain't heard from you in a long time. Station, my friend. And forever. But I thought that was super interesting. One thing that I didn't know. Okay, so we know who Jack Cole is. Creator of Plastic Man.
Yeah. Everybody knows who Jack Cole is. If you don't, you should know. He created Plastic Man. Just be careful when you say his name.
So it was really interesting to me that, and he's the one that did the Man That Died Twice cover. He's the one that made that classic cover.
Nice.
But so the Comic Code Authority came along in 54. And that's when all the pre-code stuff, obviously, because now we have the code, so all of that stuff went away. And he was writing and creating all of this horror stuff, really visceral, graphic horror stuff, and was basically just out of a job at that point.
Yeah.
And that's what led him to off himself. It was just horrible.
Well, that's it. You got any other Christmas stories for us? Yeah, that destroyed a lot of lives and a lot of companies and just a lot of stuff.
Right.
And all in the name of protecting people, Um, and it's like the only God. Was there anything else besides besides Mad that made it out of there?
Well, I mean, obviously the DC stuff.
Yeah, but that I
But-
mean, but without a code. I mean,
Oh, without a code? No,
Yeah.
no.
because I think Mad was the only one that made it out with like no code.
Yeah.
And
that's because Mad was more of a magazine than a comic book.
well, they made it a magazine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they wouldn't have to do the code. But yeah, you know, it's like I don't know. There's so much stuff, you know, through history that's happened where that it's like, oh well, we're going to do this for your protection. It's going to be fine, and then it messes everything up. Probably the example that backfired on him the best was the music labeling.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, explicit content.
yeah. Back in the 80s.
Because I don't know about you, man, but when I was, you know, when I saw that, I'd buy it.
Oh yeah.
Like, cool, man. Explicit content.
Well,
It
and
is.
I think the comic code kind of I felt the same way too, because in the mid 70s, early to mid 70s, you had a lot of that underground stuff coming out, the Ralph Snart stuff, the San Francisco stuff,
Yeah.
Felix the Cat.
Yeah.
I mean, that all came from a act of defiance to the comic code.
And then what was it, like the 2 or 3 issues of Spider-Man that didn't have the code?
Right. Which is funny because Stan Lee got to where he was because of the introduction of the code. Right.
Right.
He was, I mean, Atlas had come along and he made his way up to editor at Atlas, and he was doing all of these pre-code horror books, and that was his thing, and make them more gruesome, make them more violent, make them more, you know. And then when he saw the tide turning, he's like, "Oh, we can't have that now. Let's lean into superheroes.
Let's do superheroes." Yeah. And I mean, I like that, you know, he was embarrassed to be who he was, so he changed his name.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't want people associating him with comics. And then, like, after all that, you couldn't associate him with anything but,
Right.
you know, because he had done so much for comics and so much stuff that is just like, you know, he was the comic guy.
Right.
Like, he was comics. I would think even more so, probably like even more so than, you know, like really almost anybody else. Like Kirby, you know, was like a god back then, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, but to know Jack Kirby, you have to be a comic fan.
Right.
97% of the time, I'm going to say. You know, to know Stan Lee, you have to be somewhat of a pop culture fan.
And not even a very good one. Like, everybody knows who Stan Lee is.
Yeah. You know, and honestly, I mean, until he started doing the cameos and stuff, and then until Jim Lee was like big on the internet doing his DC announcements and, you know, Comic Cons and everything like that, I literally, for the first several years I was here, had people asking me if Stan Lee and Jim Lee were related.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and that's why you say, no, you don't have to be that great of a pop culture fan. You know, you know, and it's like, come on, man, no, they're not related. But yeah, he is so recognizable to this day. I know he died 6 years ago, right?
Yeah.
You know, and to this day, if you just say Stan Lee, everybody knows who he is. You know, he's transcended all that, which I think is you know, the reason I bring that up is I always think it's interesting because, yeah, he did do these horror books and romance and anything he could get a paycheck for. Anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was the thing too.
Yeah.
He did it. I mean, I have no disrespect for Stan Lee at all. I think he did amazing things for the hobby, for the industry. Met him a couple times. He was a great guy to me. I got nothing bad to say about him, but he was really... he was like a politician. He would go wherever the wind was blowing.
Oh yeah.
And that's how he stayed alive. I mean, that's how he kept comics alive.
Right.
Because DC would not be around right now if it weren't for a Stan Lee.
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
DC was struggling. They couldn't get into the Silver Age until he came along and changed what a superhero was.
Yeah, that's very true. And I always again think that's so funny that he hid from it and then he became it.
Right.
You know. So, but yeah, I mean, he did all that old horror stuff,
And a lot of the people that the really big guys that you don't think of really like cut their teeth on the pre-code horror stuff, because Kirby was
Ditko. That was my
Ditko.
See, I don't
definitely.
Okay, I'm going to be a controversial jackass here, man, but I don't like Ditko's Spider-Man.
It's all right.
You know,
Okay.
And I think the art's ugly.
Yeah.
It's like incredibly classic stuff, man. You know, it's what when you think of early Spider-Man, you think of Ditko.
Right.
You know, even though Romita was on it longer.
Yeah.
You know,
And did it
you
better.
You think of
Romita
Ditko,
did it better.
right?
Yeah.
And you know, you think of that, but my favorite work of his was that old pre-code stuff that that they did through Atlas and
EC.
yeah, because he was so good at drawing just crazy monster stuff and horror and sci-fi and whatever, that he didn't have a mastery of the human form, but he definitely had a mastery of monsters.
Yeah.
Like, and you can find that old reprint.
Well, and then you see that
it was cool.
a lot in, what he did later and with the Spider-Man villains and with the Fantastic Four villains and like the big blob monster of the week type stuff.
Right. Yeah. Did. Yeah. So, I think both he and Kirby, I'm not sure they get enough credit for that stuff.
Oh, I'm sure. I guarantee they don't.
Yeah. But yeah, but you get those old EC artists and everything, and that's what people think of.
Yep.
And when you think of EC Comics, what the average person thinks of Mad and what? Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt.
Right. And I find this interesting that the Tales from the Crypt crowd knows that because of the TV show. Mostly.
Yeah.
Because, the couple of movies, but the HBO show. But, if you look at those credits, and people come in and they're like, oh, cool, Shuck Suspense Stories. Or, oh, cool, Panic. Oh, cool, look at that. We're whatever, right? But the thing that if you look at those credits at the end of the show, you'll see that the majority of those stories were taken from these.
Right.
Not Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
Like the crime suspense stories and
a lot
things
of
like that.
Yeah.
But they just they called it Tales from the Crypt because honestly, if you had a show called
Keeper,
I
mean, really, that's it.
And if you had a TV show called Panic, people would be like, "Oh man, that's crazy! Is it like your earthquake? Is it like a disaster thing, or what is it?"
I love that cover.
God, that cover's so great.
It's one of my favorites.
Arugula.
See if we can get an angle where
that's
Bueller will freak out on me when he watches this.
Oh yeah.
I told you, don't put glare on the books.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah. So yeah, I love pre-code stuff. It's really hard to get a hold of.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a collector group out there that's kind of hoarding it, because right now, if you look at early pre-code stuff, you look at the stuff from the late 40s and compare it to the Batman stuff or the Captain America stuff or anything else that was out during that time period, that superhero stuff has blown up in price so much that like your pre-code stuff is pennies on the dollar compared to the superhero stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a great way to get some of these great artists, some of these great stories, in a brilliant format. Like I think it's extremely underrated right now, and people are just scooping it up and sitting on it.
It's I mean, you can get average condition ones, very good to find for pretty low prices, honestly. Surprisingly low, man. And you would think that they'd be more.
Well, and you see a lot of it out at the yard sales and swap meets and places like that still, and at the
Yeah.
thrift stores because people look. They're like, I know it's a comic book, but there's no Spider-Man. There's nobody in a cape, so it can't be
Mhm.
worth a whole lot of money.
Right. The
And
exception,
some
you know,
westerns you get with that with too.
yeah, I think the exceptions with how much they are, like the expensive ones, and you'll find these notations in Overstreet all the time, as if they're used as an example in Seduction of the Innocent.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Um,
And that's a huge selling point. If it's in seduction, then yeah.
and I don't know if we have any left. We probably don't out there because they go fast. But talk about pre-code horror, Archie's Madhouse.
Yeah.
And we've gotten some of those really old ones in, and they fly out of here typically. And it's like, it's weird to think Archie comics. When people were like, "Why is Archie so into horror now?" They always have been into horror.
Yeah.
Like the Chilling Adventures stuff. That barely made it past that comics good. I don't know how they made it past that.
Yeah.
But there's the Chilling Adventure stuff. Like Sabrina was kind of scary.
Yeah.
At first,
I was about to say that.
Yeah. And the Archie's Madhouse and all that weird stuff. And like Archie got into all that stuff. They got into Supergirl stuff. They got into horror. They got into but they kind of settled on what was the most popular. And when you and I are growing up, we know Archie because it's like, what the heck's Archie going to do with these two girls in his jalopy? Oh my gosh, I got a date Friday and Saturday. And it's silly, family-friendly fun. The 3 Fs.
Yeah.
They weren't always like that.
No.
And those are pretty great stories too.
So yeah, love me some pre-code horror. And as we go into the next couple of months, September, October, we may zero down a little bit more on specific artists and titles and things like that. If that's something that you want to hear us talk about or have some input on, let us know, and we'd be glad. I know that the horror stuff is something that Greg's really big on. He really enjoys it. I dabble in it and getting much more interested. So let us know if it's something you want to hear more about. So last week we had you pick a movie.
Yeah.
Happy Death Day.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
I
didn't
went
watch
home.
Okay.
We got there were 3 movies in a bundle on Fandango. It was Happy Death Day, Happy Death Day 2, and Freak. All 3 movies.
Was it Freaky or Freak?
Maybe it was Freaky.
With
Vince Vaughn?
Yeah, Freaky.
Okay. Haven't seen it yet.
Oh, man, that's so good.
But all 3 movies take place in the same universe.
Yeah.
Of course, the Death Day ones.
Uh-huh.
And my daughter told me you can't just stop at Happy Death Day. You have to watch 2 to know what's going on.
If you want to.
Yeah. It adds more of a backstory to it.
It does, but it's also more sci-fi.
Right. And then apparently they're making a 3. So,
Happy Death Day 3 you?
Yeah. They're making a trilogy. I can't remember what they called it. It was like Happy Death Day to You and You and You, something like that. It was, yeah.
You get a car. You get a car. You get a car.
But yeah, it was really fun. I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how what I described as Groundhog Day, but horror.
Right.
Totally is, right?
Well, I've never seen Groundhog's Day, but
you haven't?
I'm assuming. No.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't interest me.
I think it's a product of the time. When it came out, it was like a big deal because it was such a different thing that they were doing. And just the whole concept was weird.
I'm not a huge Bill Murray fan.
So much you don't even know how to say his name.
Yeah. I'm just not.
He's great in Zombieland.
He is pretty phenomenal in Zombieland.
It's pretty great Ghostbusters.
And I like Ghostbusters. But I mean, I'm a huge Harold Ramis fan. I think Harold Ramis is a genius.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah,
he did so much stuff that was like, what?
And his daughter does some not my kind of stuff. It's my wife's kind of stuff. But I've seen her and she does this TV show out of Canada that's just freaking hilarious.
What's it called?
I want to say adults or something like that. I don't know.
Huh.
But yeah, it's a girl thing. And I
Gross.
sit down and watch
Ew.
them with my wife. Yeah, they're icky.
Ew, let's stay in the comic shop. Talk about how gross they are.
Wow.
Ew. They have different parts.
We do not perpetuate stereotypes.
No.
No.
No. But we are so haunted, so come by.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a great show.
Yeah, it was. It was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. What's this week's? What's the challenge you're going to give me this week?
I don't know. I think I know I dig like the that early 70s Hammer horror type stuff.
Okay.
So what do you got for like classic? How many girls are in the shop right now?
Actually, oh my God, none.
Wow.
This
That and that's
10 minutes ago, there were like 3. Now,
Yeah.
oh my God. Just us, Evan. Just me and Art. Just us gals. Girl talk.
Girl Talk. That's our new show, Girl Talk.
Girl
from
Talk.
Black Cat.
There you go.
So let's go 70s era, some kind of exploitation type horror.
Oh boy.
So that ought to be a good one.
This one, not everybody might. Not everybody may enjoy this one. 70s exploitation, Snuff.
No.
Don't watch this one with
No.
Cat. Maybe
What?
don't watch this one with Cat.
Let's see if we can track it down.
You can do that, or I mean, there's always the Blackula movies, which you've seen. Yes,
I have seen Blackula,
Okay.
and I think that's brilliant.
I love that movie so much.
To do this real quick.
Don't type Snuff in on Google. What's
Yeah.
wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Snuff movie. How about that? There you go.
Snuff, the theme park adventure.
Yeah. Have you ever been to the theme park adventure of Snuff? It's crazy. It's not a good ending.
All right, I'm going to throw this up here real quick. We were talking earlier about Marvin Wynn's Kickstarter, and he just sent that over to me.
There we go.
Edge, trade paperback, volume 2. Nice.
So there's an interesting story behind Snuff. It was not originally called that. It came out and failed miserably. And I can't remember their names, but it's a husband and wife team that did kind of softcore girly movies, not girl like Harold Ramis' daughter, but
Right.
And they got a hold of it, re-released it, but after they shot a new ending. And they put it out as such just grindhouse trash, wonderful exploitation garbage, man. Yeah, and they would put stuff in there like the trailer for it said a film made in South America where life is cheap. It's like, what does that even have to do with this, man? Like couldn't be made anywhere but here, and it was that old grindhouse drive-in,
Right.
trailer voice, right? And it was all like dumb, but it caused this insane panic with people, and where they thought that it was really a snuff movie, and it kind of brought that term into the vernacular and made it more popular, so people started calling things snuff movies and stuff like that. So it was
All right.
really weird. And the ending that they tacked on, it's supposed to be the same actress, and it is so poorly done. It doesn't look anything like her. Nothing like her at all.
All right.
But again, beware, because there's some themes in this one that might be a little triggering to people. So be careful if you watch it.
I'll track that down. See if we can find it.
I like garbage movies. You know me. But when we do our so bad it's good trash recommendation. Boy, do I have one in mind. Oh God.
Right on. All right, so that is our homework for the week.
If you want to.
But I did really enjoy Happy Death Day.
Yeah, that was a fun movie.
I may go home and watch Freaky tonight.
Freaky is so funny,
Because,
man.
like that whole world, it's funny to me.
It is literally so. You got Happy Death Day, which is Groundhog but horror.
Right.
Some of Happy Death Day to You is sort of Back to the Future but horror.
Yeah.
Like it goes into
a
a weird spot.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the H.G. Wells time machine kind of stuff.
But yeah, it is a little Back to the Future.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. Now, Freaky is full-on horror Freaky Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And Vince Vaughn is hilarious in it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Like, he comes across as kind of a dick sometimes to me. Like, I don't always like him. He's just kind of like, look at me, Vince Vaughn, like a little arrogant.
Yeah.
But in this, it really, it works. It really works.
I don't know why I was thinking it was Rob Schneider, but I think he's done something similar.
If it was Rob Schneider, I wouldn't have watched it.
I don't follow his career at all. I don't really follow Vince Vaughn, but
it's really difficult to follow Rob Schneider's career these days, I think.
I follow his daughter's career pretty close. She's pretty phenomenal. All right.
So there it is. Man.
There it is. Yeah. A lot of good stuff for you.
These are so great. These are really cool. These books.
These books, yeah.
They're nice.
So we are, what the plan is moving forward is I'm going to start throwing up a, what did I call it? A survey in our Utah group and give you all a chance to vote on what our topics should be.
You called it a poll, but I started making bad jokes about dancing, so you've switched it to a survey, huh?
A survey, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take the survey.
I don't want anybody thinking about my poll.
No.
And so
if you enjoyed this podcast, please take our survey at the end.
Yeah. So we'll get some input from you guys on what you want us to talk about. I think we're going to kind of continue some of the subjects that we hit on today. I like the history behind some of these artists and how they work their way through the industry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think even comic book people don't know a lot about some of these artists that were active during this time. And like you hear a lot about Kirby, Ditka, Stanley.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
there's still so many people that are, doing this stuff and they're so under the radar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anything else?
No.
So if you get the chance and you're in the Utah area, stop by Black Hat Comics, the most haunted comic book store in the world.
In the universe.
And be here for the seance.
Sorry, I thought I heard something.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. And that gave me bumples.
Ooh, bumples. Bumples was my dancing name in college.
Yeah, I know. I caught your show 3
nights a week. Thank you.
At the Toolbox.
Yeah.
All right. So that way you'll know whenever we drop one of these. And we'll see you later, traders.